Why do you give them faces? Try to friendly them all up, make them look all human.
These robots are not susceptible to intimidation.
I guess if you didn't, we wouldn't trust them.
And hopefully the client can trust us to explain those variables. Now I went through the list of variables and I sorted them from easiest to hardest, starting with spies. The coefficient for spies is right here, negative 11.562. What that means is all I need is just a simple sentence. Each spy means 11.5262 fewer enemy deaths. Well, that's important, right? If I was talking to these generals, I'd be like, yeah, don't use spies. They aren't working. And it looks like personnel has a similar problem, this negative 265.31. Again, just a sentence. Don't use personnel. Napalm is also negative. So looks like spy personnel and napalm are all bad ideas. Let's talk about terrorism. Terrorism is categorical. So my baseline, well, it's not high or medium, so it must be low. So I wrote these two sentences before I've even really looked at the values. Going from low terrorism to high means, answer is 209 more enemy deaths. Meanwhile, low to medium, that was this value right here. There's the 104. So 104 more enemy deaths. So what do we want the terrorism level to be? Obviously, high is going to give us more enemy deaths. Missiles is cute. So I've run out of ones so easy that all I need is a sentence. Now I'm definitely going to need a graph. So I'm going to start by taking all my hat stuff. Let's come down here where we were wanting to talk about missiles. And the values of the other things, they don't really matter. The value of missiles matters right here. What's the range on missiles? So I'm going to go clear up to the top where I actually graphed missiles. And it looks like missiles goes from like 30 to 70, maybe 20 to 80, or 20 to 90. I think 20 to 80. So I need missiles to be a sequence going from 20 to 80, length, something big. 1,000 sounds good. And now, missiles is going to be a whole string of values, and so will enemy hat, and now I can plot enemy based off missiles. Okay, that's a nice picture. I have a couple of choices here, and one is this plot right here. Actually, just because I'm that way, I want to make... Oh, no, don't do this. I'm doing a video. Okay, LTY equal, no, LTY equals 1. That's not doing it. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Type equals line, or just L for line. There we go, and that gives me a thin line. Does that look better? I don't know, I just like it that way. Okay, that's one option. The other option is to plot enemy based off missiles, data equals war. Here's my original plot. Enemy not found. Data equals war. Oh my goodness, it's because enemy is capitalized. So annoying. Okay, there's my original data, and I can draw enemy hat based off missiles hat. Type equals, I think LTY1 for the lines command. I'm going to color it red so that it's bold and make the width be thicker so you can see it. Which one looks better? And I mean, different people might disagree. Option 1 or option 2. You can still see the curve here, but it's more subtle. This one is much, I like option 1 better. So I'm going to go with that as my plot for missiles. Great. Payload interacts with stock. Okay, so I'm going to grab all my hats, bring it down. And missiles is not what we're talking about anymore. So I can take him back to, I don't know, some value 50 in the middle. Doesn't matter. What's going to matter here is payload and stock. Let's take a look at payload. Payload goes from 0 to 5,000. So I'm just going to make a little note right there. And stock, what does it go from? 900 to 1,500. So I want to come back down here, make a little note. Goes from 900 to 1,500. All right, now this is supposed to be a plot of payload. So I am going to make payload 0 to 5,000 length equals something big. 1,000's probably more than enough. Now, because it interacts with stock, I want to start with a low value of stock, and we'll want to plot that. Except this is plotting missile hat, and that's not what we're talking about anymore. I know that I'm going to have a bunch of different lines, so I'm coloring the first one red. That's cool. And now let's copy and paste all this so that we can do it again, this time changing stock to be something bigger. 1200 should do it. And I don't want to redo my plot because I want to add this line on top of it, so it's going to be lines. And let's change the color of the line to be blue. Come all the way back up to where the hats start and plot those. All right, that's interesting. I'm going to do a third line, copy and paste, go up to stock. Let's change it to be a high value, which would be the 1500, and change the color. Let's see, we've done red, blue. How about green? I think green 3 is a nice, pretty green. Nice. You know, I'm looking at this plot thinking, yeah, I can explain what's happening as payload increases and how stock is changing it. I don't like how the green line gets cut off. Like, I want the top and bottom range to be wider. So I'm going to scroll up to my first line, this red line, and I'm going to make the Y limits go out wider. So more like 4100 out to 4600. Let's try that. Yeah, I like that. That feels better to me. I'm also going to want a legend. Let's see. No, what? Oh, I forgot to say where to put it. Top left. Looks like a good spot. There we go. All right. What happens as payload increases, the deaths go up, and you can see how high stock it's the most up, and low stock it's not quite as much up.